Okay, so replacing the turbo cartridge on a Nissan X-Trail. Now, not replacing the turbo, because that means taking it off from the manifold and that sort of thing. And as we all know, that can be absolutely brutal. So this is just the cartridge. Radiator out, 2 brackets, 1, 2. It comes out from the bottom. You've got 1 hose connection here, and then you have got top hose here. Remove the pipe, 2 bolts there, 2 12s, 1 12 down underneath there. 2 10s, you obviously got your heat shield up here. This one, get rid of that. So that's a couple of 10s. Take out this, and then you're going to have to fight the E-clip on the back. So this is the boost solenoid. You have to fight the E-clip on the back, but it's easier once you've got this out. So get this off here, this elbow off. Loosen up the 8mm here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take out that 10mm down there. So obviously take this pipe off. Take out that 10mm down there from the oil line, and then what you can do is turn the turbo slightly down so you can get at the bolts at the back a lot easier. The 1 bolt under here, this one at the top, you can put the 8mm in this way. Don't go in from the top there, go in this way with a ring spanner, you'll get that. And then what I did is I literally split the turbo. So what you do, just get the bits here. What you do is you end up getting, so you take the head off the turbo with those 8mm. You then end up with that. So you'll see that on the end. Left-hand threaded nut. Grip the tip of the shaft with something if you have to, but usually you can just hold on to that and loosen that off. Tap the impeller in a little bit to loosen it. That comes off. You then have 4 torque screws that sit in. 4 torque screws. Get them out. That plate comes off, and then you are left with this side of the turbo, and you can undo the 5 10mm, which are tricky to get at, all the way around. Reverse of doing this, leave the turbo cartridge in one piece, and what you can do is once the bolts are easy and free, it's not so difficult to put back in with it in one piece like that. You don't need to split it to put it back in, but to get at the bolts, it's you know. In terms of getting this lined up here, what you do is line that up in line with a little pin there, and line the insides up as well, and that's the easiest way to locate and see, but it goes in slowly, so it's not too difficult. The guts of the variable vane will fall apart when you take it apart. Other stuff, you're going to need to lift the battery box here to get a load of this out, the fans and stuff to come past that. Coolant's going to come out, it's going to drip for ages because the thermostat is down there. Let me see, you could do with a wobble attachment to catch the 10mm on the oil line at the back there, which is a bit of a pig. If you get a wobble attachment, you can get up and get the oil line at the back because you can't go down and get it. That 10mm on the other side of the oil line, you can go down. Don't use the gasket they send you because it's only got 1 hole in it, not 2. And that would be a bad mistake. 1 for outlet, 1 for inlet. Yeah, other than that, there's not that much to it. It's very fiddly, very slow, but it does save you from having to rip these off, which are extremely hard work to get off, and then you've got to drop the exhaust and all kinds of rubbish like that. Yeah, 10mm, 8mm, 12mm, a couple of 13s I think. Nothing's going to be overly hard to undo so long as you take this side of the turbo off to get to these, and these are the worst ones. These are the 10mm that hold the exhaust side of the turbo together. Anything else worth noting? Not really. The couple of plugs to undo on the radiator, just the normal push-in type, 2 of those pushing in. Move your turbo line back, and then yeah, and when you put this back together, there's one tricky one round the back, 1 8mm tricky one round the back. If you do that one up to almost tight by finger, so you twist this down twist the whole turbo down that way so you can get at the back one. Do it up, not tight, do it up till it catches. Turn it up to where you want it and then do the others up. You find that actually, because the front, if you leave these front ones loose, you actually find that because it cocks over when you tighten that back one up, you can get it absolutely perfect by snugging these up. Look for leaks. There's an oil drain line at the back there, so an oil supply line at the back there with a 17mm banjo nut. If you take that off, it's extremely difficult to get back on again. So I'd advise loosening it but not taking it off. And then yeah, flex this oil line out of the way. Once you've got that 10mm out, flex the oil line down and out of the way. There's loads of movement in it, and you can then take this whole housing up and off. Yeah, overall not a particularly nice job to do. Radiator is yeah, the radiator just slots in and slots back down on again. And then yeah, be careful of how these sit here. Make sure that the turbo isn't cocked in, stopping, because this will then ride up against this bracket here, and it won't push down and seal. I've probably forgotten something, but it's the basics of it. You're probably talking about 5 hours, I'd have thought. This way you could possibly do it quicker. I mean, obviously if you had the right tools in a garage and you could take the turbo off, you'd be much quicker. But we're talking a handful of spanners, and what can you do? Yeah, new turbo insert, 58 quid. Quick and easy. Getting the E-clip back on for this is incredibly difficult. I would suggest you keep a magnet, and if you notice down there, there's a hole, you probably can't see it, but there's a hole in the chassis. I'd recommend stuffing something into that so that whatever you're doing, when you drop that E-clip, it doesn't go down it. That's the only one that you'll, yeah. A lot of this you can't get out from the top, so, sorry, from the bottom, so I'd suggest radiator out as a first thing. There we are guys, hope that helps.